Okay, good morning. In this part of the class, we are going to talk about famous strategy, which is called go-to-market strategy. Go-to-market strategy. This strategy, it is founded in two major principles. The first one, or the first principle which we are talking about is, where are our customers? The second principle for this strategy, who will deal or access them? Or access them. These are the two major principles upon which the go-to-market strategy is founded on. Now let's begin with the first one. Where are our customers? Of course, this question is very important. Well, if you are going to say how we are going to locate our customers, by a very simple stage or a process, and I think we have talked about it before. What is it? Excellent, Hanim. By market segmentation. By market segmentation, we can identify the location of our potential customers. Well, second, who will deal or access them? Well, the word them here, it refers to customers. But the answer is the sales people. Therefore, the second answer for the second question, here we are referring to the sales team. In other words, who is going to deal with us, or who is going to work with us? Who are the members of our sales team? What are their experiences, qualifications, skills, and so on? All these questions must be answered. Why? Simply because each person is going to be given exact position. Where? Under the umbrella which is called go-to-market strategy. Okay? So let's summarize what we have started. So go-to-market strategy is concerned with answering one question, which is how will customers will be accessed? In other words, where are they? What is their location? What is their place? A second thing, a go-to-market strategy defines who will perform marketing activities and for which customers. Remember, when we are talking about the salespersons, not all the persons or the salespersons, they have the same characteristics and the skills and experiences. Let's give example. Sometimes while we are dealing with banks, you are going to find that the senior management of any bank prefers to assign a teller for a staff member who can control his nerves, who is patient, who cannot be agitated easily. And the management isn't ready to assign a position of teller for a staff member who is nervous, who can be provoked easily, and so on. Why they are making this? Because they are seeing each position has its own responsibilities and has its own tasks. Well, if we are not going to put the right person for the right position, this is going to create us problems and troubles. The same thing here. The sales agency is going to look at its own sales staff member. They will look at their own figures and personalities and characters and skills and experiences. They will say, for example, if we would like to assign a sales staff member who will adopt face-to-face selling, this means the characteristics of this sales staff member must be calm, must be quiet, must be smart, must be articulated, ability to speak and convince, and so on. These are the characteristics of what? Face-to-face salesperson. Can we assign this position, sales or face-to-face salesperson, to any person, to any sales staff member? Of course not. Sometimes those people who cannot have these traits or attributes, they should work behind desks. This is the way in which we are going to organize our sales team members. Okay? Move on. Now, here we are going to talk about steps. Steps required for what? For establishing something called go-to-market strategy. If you are going to look at these steps, you are going to find that the first question, it is focusing on what is the best way to segment the market. Well, as we said, This equation is reminding us with this equation. Where are our customers? How can we locate them? How can we identify them? How can we figure them out? We can figure them out by adopting a study which is called market segmentation. A second equation, what are the essential activities required by each segment? In other words, when we are referring here to the essential activities, we might refer to the demands of the customers. We might refer to the products of the customer. We might refer to the things which the customer prefer to have, and so on. So all these things must be identified. How we are going to identify them? By answering the first step or question. Regarding the third one, what group of go-to-market participants should perform the essential activities? Here, we are referring to the second question. In other words, how we are going to organize ourselves as a sales staff member. In other words, which staff member is going to have which responsibilities. Each one has its own responsibilities, tasks, job description, and so on. Finally, who face-to-face selling participants should be used? Now somebody is going to wonder, why we are referring to the face-to-face selling particularly? Because it is one of the most difficult sales techniques. One of the most difficult sales techniques. In other words, it is demanding. It is requiring special interests, special skills, special experiences. Oh, by the way, if you do not have a previous knowledge about this, if you are going to ask me what is the most difficult thing in life, exactly. The most difficult thing in life is to deal with people. Each person has his own end. Each person has his own goal. It's impossible to satisfy the end or the goal of each person. It's impossible. Therefore, when we are talking about face-to-face selling, we are referring to one of the most difficult techniques in the field of sales. Any question, comments about this? Okay, move on. Now, let's repeat what we have just explained in other words. So, to sum up, to determine a go-to-market strategy, an important decision, listen here, an important decisions, delete an. It is a plural. Important decisions should be taken in these three areas. Number one, segment the market as we agreed on. Second, sales process activities. Oh, stop here. When we are referring to the word process, we are referring to something which is organized and it is consisting of stages. It is consisting of stages. Which stage is followed by a stage number 2. 2 is followed by number 3 and so on. We cannot disorder the stages. We cannot disorder them. They are built in a strict sequence. Each sequence has its own goal, has its own purpose. Finally, go-to-market participants. Remember, when we are referring to participants, we are referring to the sales staff members who are going to be responsible for implementing and executing sales process activities. Sales process activities. Now, let's talk about another thing. Oh, this is important. If we are going to ask you this question, give us experience, a personal experience, about a thing which you purchased last week or in the last 2 weeks. I'm expecting that each one, at least, she bought one item, especially the women. You are addicted to purchasing. Shoes? Okay, give us detailed information about this experience. Wala? Who said shoes? Haneen? Okay, anyone, yalla. It is a crime. No. Anyone, yes. Give us personal experience about what you bought in the last month. Go on. Okay, go on. In more detailed way, how did you build your decision to buy? You entered one shop only? Two. And after you entered the 2 shops, You bought from one. Okay, your decision was formulated or built according to reasons. What were they?
I like the colors. I like the colors in one shop more than the other, and I love the shape of the scarves in that market, that shop. So I just bought it, and I found the prices more
Reasonable.
reasonable than that.
And after that, you took a decision. So what do we understand from this? Go on.
My experience related to the salesperson itself. Before 2 weeks, go to the market and show many shops to purchase shoes. Actually, I like the same shoes in 2 places, but the first one, the person who deal with me wasn't very.
Easy going, smooth, gentle.
Yeah, so I removed from the shop and go to the other one because the salesperson is more
Cooperative. Good, good. So let's summarize or let's comment or look at the 2 scenarios or examples from above. What can we conclude? We can conclude one thing. Decision of purchasing doesn't happen at one shot. It doesn't happen at one shot. It goes through stages. What are these stages? We are going to talk about this now in a very detailed way. Well, let's begin. Number 1, interest creation. Therefore, if we are going to return back to Rafah, sorry, Farah, I was in Rafah last Thursday. If we return back to Farah said, I bought a scrap. And if you are going to ask her why she bought it, simply because she needs it.
Yes.
Therefore, the need here is considered to be the first seed for interest creation. All the time, remember, each person has his own needs.
Yes.
These needs must be fulfilled and must be demanded and must be satisfied. Okay? So the satisfaction of the need is considered to be the first seed in the creation of the interest. So now we are interested in something. Why we are interested in this something?
Because you need.
Because we have a need.
Yeah.
And why we would like to buy it? To satisfy this need.
Yes.
So this is considered to be the beginning of the first step or stage in the purchasing decision. Now, what is going to happen next? What's going to happen next is the following pre-purchase stage. If you are going to ask, what are the informations which as a customer, which as a consumer, I'm going to think of before I'm going to take my decision of purchasing? I am going to ask myself various questions. First, I will collect information. Second, I'm going to talk about the price. Third, I'm going to talk about the characteristics of the seller.
Yes.
Of seller. Is he gentle?
Quality also.
Also, I'm going to talk about quality. And also, I am going, listen, to compare the product with the competitive products. With the competitive products and so on. So all these are considered to be a mental process. When we are saying mental, questions which we are having in our mind and we are trying to find an answer for them. But remember, all this mental storm is happening in your mind under pre-purchase stage. Before we are going to take the actual decision of purchasing. But later on, what is going to happen?
Purchase.
We are going to take the execution of the decision. In other words, we are going to purchase. Now, in the purchasing, are we talking about actions which is going to happen? Yes. The most important thing which is going to happen within this stage is, listen, look.
Evaluation.
Yes.
The product.
In this stage, we are going to continue evaluating our product which we purchased. How we are going to evaluate it? We are going to evaluate in the terms of quality, in the terms of service, in the terms of sustainability, and so on. All these things, we are going to evaluate them after the decision of purchasing has been taken. Okay? Later on, what's going to happen? We are going to talk about the post-purchase. In the post-purchase also, we are talking about things or steps which should be taken. Like what? Feedback, advice, maintenance, problem solving, installation, insurance guarantee, warranty, and so on. So all these things are what? Are things which customers are thinking of. All these things. So what do we understand from this? We understand something which is very simple. The decision of purchasing, it is a process.
Yes.
It is consisting of stages. Stage number 1, interest creation, which is summarized by the birth of the need.
Yes.
Stage number 2, pre-purchase, where we are going to collect information, about the price, quality, seller, characteristics of the seller, competitive product with the other competitive products, and so on. Also, we are talking about the third stage, which is summarized by the purchase stage, in which we are evaluating our product which we have already bought. Finally, we are talking about post-purchase, where we are trying to collect information about the feedback of the product, advice, maintenance, insurance, guarantee, and etc. All these things are considered to be information related to post-purchase. So, is this a new information for you or no? It's something which we used to do, but sometimes we are unconscious of it. We are unconscious of it. But everybody, every consumer, whenever he is going to buy something, for sure, he is going to go through these stages. Okay? Let's summarize them. Let's summarize the stages. So, in summarizing the stages, we are going to begin with the first one, which is
Interest creation.
exactly to create the interest, where you are going to look that it includes, add the word S here, the letter S. It includes all the ways that the customers can learn about the benefits of the product and the company. Now, prospecting. And what's the meaning of prospecting? Searching or looking for something called potential customers for the product. Well, somebody is going to say, how did this? We are making this by market segmentation. Therefore, listen here, this is very important. Sometimes you are going to see it in the exams, in the mid and the final. When we are saying prospecting, we are referring to the action of figuring out the place of the potential customers. Once again, when we are referring to prospecting, we are referring to the possibility or to the chance or to the action of figuring out the location of potential customers. When we are saying of prospects alone, it means potential customers. Prospects alone, it means potential customer. But if it is in the format of gerund or verb, prospecting, it means figuring out the location of potential customers. Okay? Now, number 2, we are going to generate the leads. And what is the meaning of this? Look, at the first stage, we identify the location of the customer or potential customer. Second, we would like to incite them. What's the meaning of inciting them? We would like to attract their own eyes on our products. How? Either by good advertisement, by good commercial, by attracting them, or by an attractive tool, by packaging, and so on. Third, we are going to talk about creating awareness and interest. This awareness of the customer cannot be fulfilled without answering his or her questions. Therefore, the seller must have information. Exactly. So all these things are happening in the first stage, which is called interest creation activities. Okay? Let's go to the second now. The second one is pre-purchase. In the pre-purchase, what is going to happen? In this phase, customers are actively considering and evaluating competitive product and service offerings. Now, they will explain the features and the benefits. Features here means specifications. Arabic مواصفات. Features of the product. Also, the benefits, the utility which we are going to gain after we are going to purchase. Also, the customer is going to ask himself or herself, listen, am I qualified customer or not? Am I qualified prospects or not? So prospects here, it pumps up once again.
Potential customer.
Exactly. Somebody is going to say, how the customer is going to answer this question? Simply, customer is going to evaluate his own bucket, his own personal budget. If he can afford the price, he will be qualified as qualified prospects. If he doesn't have enough personal budget to cover the price of this product, then he will evaluate himself as unqualified prospects. As unqualified prospects. Now, also, assessing customers' needs. We have to assess their needs. Along with cooperating in problem solving, if they are facing a problem, or stop here. Somebody is going to say, would you mind to explain more on something called problem solving? Sometimes we are not talking about a product here. Sometimes we are talking about service. In other words, a company, for example, she is coming to you as a service provider. For example, your company is working in audit. In audit, this means that our purpose is to discover the theft and the illegal activities which might be exercised within a firm. With this owner of this firm, he is complaining to you saying, I am encountering repetitive thefts from the financial resources of the company. Therefore, I want you to help me to figure out a system through which we can combat these repetitive thefts. Here we are talking about what? A problem which is encountered by a customer and it is thrown on us as a service provider. Or the service provider is going to investigate this problem so that he can figure out or propose a solution. Is this business? It's business. Is it sales? It's sales. Exactly. Also, we are talking about demonstrating company and the product capability or capabilities. All these things are going to be determined and finalized under the second or stage number 2, which is called pre-purchase. Now, regarding the third stage, which is the purchasing, here we are talking about negotiation, which is going to happen between the seller and the buyer. Also, we are talking about bidding. This is the bid of the service provider or the seller. Also, they are going to finalize the terms and the conditions of proposal. Stop here. Somebody is going to say these 4 things can be seen vividly, especially if we are talking about big movements or waves of sales. Correct? Correct. But do you think these waves or these stages or these procedures, are they applicable whenever you are going to enter a supermarket and you are going to buy a piece of biscuit? Sometimes, yes. Somebody Farah is going to say how. I'm going to tell you how. Imagine you would like or you are interested to buy a piece of biscuit. Therefore, you enter the supermarket and you look at the shelves. You are going to find the piece of biscuit in this way. And it is priced. It is priced. Now, unconsciously, your eyes is going to look at the product. You will evaluate the product regarding the color and the content and the ingredients and also the price. Then, you are going to begin negotiating with yourself. But in fact, you are negotiating with what? With the owner of the supermarket, who is providing you with this product. But in this scene, the owner is absent. And who is attendant? his price to product. So all these things, you are going to finalize them alone, unconsciously. In the same way which we are talking about big sales contracts. If you like the price and the content and the packaging, you are going to pick it up. If you picked it up, it means I agreed on writing this proposal and I agreed on all the terms and the conditions. Even though the owner of this biscuit isn't available in the scene now. Is this true? Yes. It's very true. It's very true. Okay, let's talk about the final stage or the fourth stage where we are talking about delivery. We are talking about installation, servicing of products. We'll stop here. Now in Gaza, sometimes whenever you would like to buy, for example, a TV, LCD, or LCD TV, sometimes you are going to say, some of the companies, they will say, we are ready to deliver it to your home, and also we are ready to install it for free. Other companies, they do not offer this service. Other companies do not offer this service. But are we talking here about two attractive offers? Yes, but which one is better? Exactly, the delivered and the installed one. Therefore, delivery and installation also it is regarding, or they are classified to be items within post-purchase stage. The same thing with addressing the customer questions, providing information about the new features or specifications, and finally, collecting payments if the payments are going to be distributed through months, especially if you are talking about big items like cars, vehicles, or something like that. Any question, any comments about this? So these are briefly the 4 stages which involved under something called purchasing decision. In the final, I might ask you this. Now, state whether the following statement is true or false. After a purchasing stage, it is focusing on providing a guarantee insurance for the customer. True. Look at this sentence once again. In the purchasing stage, the customer is used to evaluate the product along with the competitive products. False. Excellent, man. The answer, the correct answer. Exactly. Listen, this is very important. Listen, please. So once again, listen to the question. In the purchasing stage, or in the purchasing process, we are saying the customer is used to evaluate the product itself. But when the customer is going to compare the product with its competitive products in the pre-purchase decision, or before, as you said, this is important. The questions in the midterm and the final is going to be in this way. Clear? Any question, any comments? Any question, any comments? Now, do you have any question about something called go-to-market strategy? Any questions? No. Let's stop here. Now we would like to ask you about your assignment. I would like to listen to the assignments, or I would like some of the students to provide us with her answer. Who would like to be a volunteer? Go on. Who would like to be a volunteer? Quickly. Go on. What's your name? Sam. Go on, Sam. Please raise your voice, Sam.
Which strategy out of the 3 which is widely used in Gaza? Justify your answer by stating more than one example. The answer, according to the economical status in Gaza, the most strategic use are low-cost strategy and differentiate strategy. Let's talk about the second one. However, there is no encourage for the domestic.
So, Sam, the best answer is low-cost strategy. The low cost and the differentiation. But my question is asking about one. Which? So your answer? The low cost. Exactly. Yes.
Let's talk about the first one, low cost, which is implemented in many firms, such as shops for clothes in Umar Mukhtar as Sawafiri and others which sell any piece within the price by 30 shekel. And also the shops which spread very widely at the last period as Dajjah, every piece with the 2 shekel, 2.5 shekel or 10 shekel. And also the shops for used electronic sells the product by lower price.
Excellent. Excellent. So once again, the correct answer is low cost strategy is widely used. Are we talking about other strategies? Yes. But with a very limited implementation. Okay? Now, who gave the answer of the low cost strategy? Please raise her hand. Who? Who didn't get the right answer? Please raise her hand. Be frank. Be frank. What did you write? Differentiation. Okay. What about you? Differentiation. What about you? Niche? Okay. That's fine. Therefore, as we said, not only in the Gaza market, also in the traditional markets like the Arab markets, all the time remember the local strategy is given priority number 1. But if you are going to ask why, simply because each family is striving hard to live in a very generous standards of living.
Yes.
This is the major reason. So the housewife or the husband or the householder, all the time whenever they would like to buy something, they are going to calculate their own personal budget. If it is reasonable and cheap, they will go on. If it is expensive, they will be hesitant.
Yes.
This is our way.
بندورش على البراند.
Okay, any question, any comments? Now listen, who didn't answer the assignment or who didn't make the assignment? Who didn't make the assignment? Why? You forgot? Who else? You? Who else? مين كمان؟ 3 بس؟ طيب, thank you very much. Next time, inshallah, we are going to talk about what is required by you on your research group. We are going to spend half of the class talking about what contents should be available in the research paper. Okay? Thank you very much.